The time I blindly crossed the ocean with a narcissist, got left alone in London, and then had the ultimate revenge. Let's get into it. We get to the restaurant. It's Hakkasan in London. I'm so excited to eat there because I've been to the one in Vegas and it's like this beautiful atmosphere. And he's acting all mad at me like the entire night. I'm trying to like change the conversation. Like I'm trying to like lighten the mood so that we can have a good time. And he's just being a little bitch, like just being so mad and so irritated and just trying to fight with me. And I'm trying to just like let it go and just move on. And he can't do that. He's just fighting, picking. So the whole time we're like having this kind of spat back and forth. We're checking in at the restaurant. So the hostess booth is like, the hostess desk is like, okay, we can seat you now. You know, we're walking back to our table, but we're like, you know, talking amongst each other as we're doing that. I mean, anybody who's been in a relationship kind of knows how that goes when you're like spatting in public. Like you're trying to like get where you need to go and talk to who you need to talk to while also keeping like a conversation going. And so we go and we sit back at our table and it's like this really nice booth and we're looking at the menu. And at this point, I was just like mad because it had been such a long journey to get to the restaurant. I hadn't seen him all day. He wasn't making any sense. I didn't understand why he was being so rude. And so I was just pissed. Like I was done trying to move us along and get to a common ground and like get along. I was just mad at this point. And I think he could sense the shift in energy because now he decided that he wasn't going to care about it, which is something he would do often, like get me all riled up. And then when I would be all riled up, he would turn it back on me like, well, why can't you just have a good time, babe? Why are you acting so out of pocket, babe? Like, why can't you just calm down and just live in the moment? And I just need peace. This was like a pattern that he did. So that played out that night at the restaurant. So we're sitting down, we're ordering our food. And there's like this amazing menu where you can order like a really beautiful like lychee martini, appetizer, entree, and like amazing dessert. So we order that and I get my lychee martini. I start drinking it and he's just being at this point like, so how was your day today? Like trying to act like everything's fine. And I'm just like, yo, you pretty much were such a dick on the way here. Like, what am I even doing here? Like, why am I even putting up with him? But I was like in my bitchy, like, just gonna act cold and like enjoy my dinner. I had already written off that I was gonna have a good time with him at this point. So I was just like enjoying my martini. And then I ordered another one. And by the way, might I add, our server was so cute. He was like this tall British guy and he was so nice and accommodating. He was trying to tell us all about the food and like in between us bickering, like we would, you know, we'd be bickering and then he'd come up and be like, can I get you guys any more drinks? Or how are you feeling about the menu? And we would be like, oh yeah, we'll have this. And then he'd leave and we'd start bickering again. I mean, it got to the point where I was clapping back and we were going at it so much that like you could tell the staff didn't know how to approach us anymore. Like they were just like, okay, that couple is like unhinged. How do we even approach this couple? But they tried their best and they did an amazing job. And finally, about halfway through our appetizer, he had had his drink and started eating the appetizer. At that point, I was just like, he was like, why am I even here if you're just going to sit here and fight with me? Like, again, trying to get out of our dinner, trying to go have his hour or two of privacy to do whatever it was that he wanted to do, not go to dinner with his girlfriend. And so at that point, I was like, go ahead and leave if you want to leave. Like, it's fine. I'll enjoy my dinner. And he's like, okay. And he stands up and leaves me with, at this point, because now the entrees were starting to come, 3 entrees, 2 appetizers, 2 alcoholic beverages, doesn't try to talk to the server about like paying the bill, doesn't even worry about the bill, doesn't give me money to pay the bill, just leaves me at a restaurant alone. At this point, 2 drinks in, I was tipsy, in the middle of a foreign country. He just stands up and leaves and then goes and does whatever it was he wanted to do at the beginning of the night without just telling me that he wanted to do something else other than hang out with his girlfriend, and he leaves me alone. And so at this point, as I said earlier, I was just ready to enjoy myself and have a good time. And I did. I slowly ate the meal. I started to talk to the server. He came over and started having conversation with me. He asked me where my boyfriend was, and I promptly told him that he was being a dick, and he excused himself. And so the server was like more than kind to me and tried to talk to me and was like really gracious. And I spent a really long time at that restaurant just enjoying my dinner because I was not going to allow him to ruin my night, and I didn't really want to go hang out with him anyway back at the hotel. Who knows where he went. So he starts texting me 2 hours later, my boyfriend, which I'll get to in a minute, but nothing from him during dinner, no explanation as to where he was going, just left me there. So I decide, well, I can get home. At this point, I'm like tipsy. I should have asked the server to help me or the host staff, but I was tipsy and I was just like, okay, action plan, how am I going to get home? So I try to order an Uber. And if you've ever been to the Hakkasan in London, the one I went to is kind of like in this alleyway. So it's like, it's a hidden door. So I go out the front door and I'm literally in an alley. Like anything could have happened to me. It was totally off the beaten path. It was not like it was in the middle of the city. And I'm waiting out for this Uber, and the Uber can't find me because like with city Ubers, often like if you have to be on the right side of the road or you have to go to the meeting point, like Uber pickups in the city to me are just like almost impossible. Like I have a very hard time, even here in the United States, picking up my Uber or finding my Uber. And so I'm walking all around the streets of London in an alleyway with my phone up like this, trying to call the Uber driver, trying to locate the Uber driver. I'm all by myself, which looking back now was so stupid. I should have had my boyfriend there to protect me, but that was never his MO. And so finally I realized like, I'm not going to get this Uber. Like I can't find this Uber. And so I decide in my tipsy state, in my solo state, in the middle of a foreign country, I'm just going to take the tube home because I know how to navigate the tube. I'm just going to ride it back to the hotel. And so I do. I ride it at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, all by myself in a foreign country to get back to the hotel. Meanwhile, at this point, I'm hearing from my boyfriend. Not, hey, are you okay? Hey, can I call you an Uber? Like, I want to make sure you're okay. That was really out of pocket. I shouldn't have left you. Just, hey, there was a party down at the hotel lobby and they were playing 80s music, so I crashed it. Sure you did. I'm sure that's where you were. And I wasn't even talking to him at this point because I was trying to navigate home safely. And I finally get back to the hotel and my boyfriend walks in and he's like, oh, hey, how was dinner? And I'm like, great. Thanks for leaving me. That was awesome. Like leaving me with the $300 tab, like leaving me all alone in the middle of a foreign land. Like really appreciate that. And he's just like, yeah, sorry. Like, you know, I just couldn't get through to you. And like our conversation was going nowhere. So, you know, I just crashed this like wedding here at the hotel lobby. And I'm like, again, you don't need to tell me that information. Like, thanks for letting me know you crashed a wedding, which I highly doubt actually happened. He probably went to a gay bar across town. But I was just like, anyway, whatever. I don't want to fight anymore. I just want to go to bed. And he's like, okay. And so then we crash. We wake up the next morning and I have a notification in my inbox on Instagram, and we're laying in bed and I show him what it is. I open it right in front of him because I was always very transparent about my phone. Unlike him, I never once saw his phone, which looking back now, probably a smart move on my part because I don't really want to see what was on his phone. And it's the server from Hakkasan. He had found my Instagram profile. He must have looked at the check and gotten my name because I paid for the entire dinner and all the drinks. Saw my name, found me on Instagram, and friend requested me and sent me a little DM saying how nice it was to meet me and if I would like him to show me around while in the city. Here's his phone number, which I thought was so cute, and it was so nice to just unexpectedly open that up in front of my boyfriend and be like, oh, look at this. You didn't want me last night, but apparently other men did. He wasn't worried though. Not once. King of nonchalant.